Okay, let's begin and do this because I do have a lot to say. I just finished reading The Sewage. Yes, first of all, this book has a lot, an immensely amount of smut. Let's begin with that. I think that this book is mainly for the people who love BDSM. It has a lot of explicit scenes, and I think that if you don't like dark romances, for example, do not read this because you're not going to like it. Now, I liked it, but I didn't like it at the same time. I read a lot and I filmed some of the parts, but I haven't felt so well these past 2 weeks, so I kind of like didn't keep track, and I didn't want to film myself reading it. It was just like I'm talking to you right now. Let's start with the characters. So there is Ursa and Alaric and Surreal. So this is a Little Mermaid retelling. So Ursa is, of course, the sea witch, and she is supposed to be this beautiful, curvy African American woman who she's a boss. She knows what she wants, and she wants vengeance, and she wants revenge, and she wants to put Tritons in his place because he betrayed her. I'm not going to say anything more because that would be a spoiler. Surreal in this book is supposed to be like the Little Mermaid, so she's kind of innocent, and her father had never let her go out in the world, and she doesn't know anything about what her father does, which is illegal, and she falls in love, or she thinks she's in love with Alaric. Alaric is a sex worker who resides at the underworld, which is, it seemed to me like either a place where you go to have sex with other people and you pay for it, but also like a bar. Yeah, that's what I got from the book. The underworld, of course, is managed by Hades, and Ursa is kind of like business partners with Hades, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there are like 2 cities. Olympus is like where the good people are, and then Underworld is where like the mafia lives, and they're not so much good people. Is that correct? I don't know. So Surreal goes to the Underworld and asks for Ursa's help to help Alaric pay for his debt, because he owns a lot of money to Hades. That's why he works as a sexual worker. What Surreal doesn't know, and that's everything I'm going to say, no more spoilers behind that. After that, Ursa and Alaric, they're lovers, so they're trying to make Surreal do something so that Ursa can have her revenge against Surreal's father. So let's jump to the things that I really liked. I think that the plot is not what I was expecting. I'm not completely happy with the plot, but I did like it. I think that if I could, or the author could develop this into like a whole full novel, it would be so cool, because the world that the author describes and that she created is so incredible. I love the idea of reinventing Greek mythology into like new and kind of dark things. The series are, it is very political driven and also socially driven. Like there is like really poor people, like people who have no other option than to sell their bodies or to do things that maybe they wouldn't do if they had another option. And then there is this people who are so cute and nice and they're clean, they're innocent, they don't know what to do, what is done outside of their like cage. And I like that contrast. I also liked the twists. I could see them coming, but I think that is a comforting thing for you to be able to, okay, yeah, I like the book, but I already know what's going to happen. But also there is one moment towards the end, I will say like maybe a 20% up, like the last couple of chapters, where you cannot actually see where this is going to go, because like what? One thing that I would say, of course, is that the ending is not what I was expecting, and it was kind of not good. The resolution of the book is not what was supposed to happen. I feel like it didn't give me what it was supposed to be. So the whole book is describing Tritons as the really bad guy, the guy who is so stubborn that that he could do like really bad things, that he would betray anyone, that he would kill, it doesn't matter who it was. The only thing that they mention a lot is that he really cares about his daughters, and that they are always been really he has always been really protective. But something happens at the end when Surreal talks to her father again, and it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense because, okay, I'm going to spoil a little bit, so if you don't want spoilers, just stop. Surreal goes back to her house, right, and she's talking to her father, and after all of this, you're telling me that Tritons is such a bad guy, such a horrible person, that he would do whatever was necessary for them to be protected, for them to be safe, and also like a bad guy. He's a bad guy. Like they're telling you the whole book, like, you don't know your father, he's a bad guy, he's like doing shady stuff, and he's even like trafficking people, and at the end they just talk and that's it. It really bothered me a lot. I wasn't happy at all with that. I wasn't happy with the ending. I was happy with what happened after the ending, because I got to read a little bit of the next book, and it kind of really, like, the intrigue is really good. But what? You're telling me that he was so bad, but just with a conversation, with she being like, if you love me, you need to let me be happy. What? No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, but it doesn't work like that. I guess that's the only thing that I didn't like. Another thing that I didn't like is, like, I like smut because I read smut. I mean, it's okay by me. I enjoy it, but too much is too much. Sometimes I wanted to read the chapters because I thought that they were going to talk to me more about the whole plot, about the businesses that Ursa had with other territorial leaders, and no, they didn't. They were more, I think the author was more interested on talking about the sex or the explicit scenes and how they what they did in those scenes, and it was okay. I again don't judge. I'm not into BDSM, but if it makes you happy, and I didn't find it uncomfortable or gross or anything, not at all. It was really fun to read, and sometimes in those explicit scenes you could see how you needed to read that part, because it was going to give you information about another thing that you needed to know for the future of the book, for the development of the book. But I felt that the whole plot was so underdeveloped, and I don't know, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, because I do consider this just like a smart book. That's it. It didn't give me a lot of plot. It didn't give me a lot of development when it came to the characters. The characters sometimes took decisions or did things that it made no sense to me. I did like the dominant and submissive relationship between them. It was really open. I do think sometimes that too much smart can damage the plot of your book, or the whole book, in a way of saying, if I dare saying so. I think that this book, or of this book, this much was smart, and all like this was plot and things that I really wanted to read about. So yeah, if this is a book, if you're looking for books like they're going to be like really smart heavy, BDSM and all of those things, read it, because this one is really good. If you're looking to read something that has more substance and that is going to let you satisfy when it comes to the plot and the intrigue and all of that, the world building and the development of the characters, then this is not a book for you. But again, you can read it and form your own opinion. I liked it, but I didn't like it. I liked it for like 1 day or 2 days that I want to disconnect my brain and just read something that is going to make me feel good, or I'm going to like, because it's not bad. But at some point it got to be too much for me. I felt a little bit embarrassed reading this at times. I had to stop. And the thing is that it's kind of good and you want to keep reading, because there are certain things that you really want to know how they end. But at some point you have to ask, is the plot or is this math worth it? Is reading this math, such a heavy math, worth it to enjoy the plot of the book? And the answer is no. The plot, I don't know, I feel like it could have been so much better if, okay, give me the smart, I do not care, but also finish the plot, like finish that, like give me more of what I'm looking for. Don't try to, I don't know, do it as fast as you can, and at least give me that fight between the daughter and the father that I'm looking for. Like, if you're telling me that he's a bad guy, then you have to give me something like he doesn't listen to her, he goes after Ursa, like they have been enemies for the longest time, for years, and now you're telling me that he's completely okay with his daughter being with his enemy? That doesn't make sense. That's my review. Again, I haven't had a very good week, 2 weeks to be exact, so don't take this in a personal way. I just read it. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. That's it. But I didn't not like it. Yeah. See you soon, guys.